man. Let's talk about the card from yesterday. What a day of fighting, man. Shoot, it was just supposed to be in the morning, man. That thing went on long and long and long. Hell of a boxing card, though, man. I had a lot of fun, man. I was burnt out by the end. I went live with it, obviously, man, but it went long. Let's talk about it. Fight of the night, Bivol's performance, tweets that went after by other boxers. Man, let's talk about it. Possible trilogy. Bivol, Canelo, Bivol, Benavidez. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. I got my coffee ready. I'm ready to cook, yo. Let's talk about it. Crazy card it was, man. And let me tell y'all something about that Bivol performance, man. I don't remember the last time that I just stayed in complete awe over a boxer's performance. Now, we've seen fighters come back. We've seen fighters get a knockout, towards the end of the fight when they were down on cards. We've seen adjustments being made inside of the card. The way that Bivol did it yesterday, though, man, I don't think that I've completely wrapped my head around it yet. It was something of legends what Bivol did yesterday. It was completely something of legends. I mean, my man was down on it. Like, it seemed like after the second or third round, it looked like Bivol had hurt his right hand, right? It almost it looked like he hurt his right hand. Like he was just not fighting like Bivol started the fight. He started fast, he started fast like we knew he would. And it's almost like once he got Beterbiev to be more on the attack, more on the aggressor, Bivol kind of backed off a little bit. And it went like that for 3, maybe 4 rounds, where he just kind of allowed Beterbiev to be the aggressor and he just stepped back. And as I was watching the fight, I was thinking, man, I hope that the rest of the fight doesn't play out like this. Like, what is going on? Is he remembering the first performance? Did he get hurt and we're not seeing it? Is his hand hurt? What is going on here? I thought the rest of the fight was going to play out like that. So to be on a card of that magnitude, on the stage that big, and to see the man down on cards, it wasn't hard to tell that he was down on cards. To see all of that, and then all of a sudden, switch it up, right? Switch it up, turn it up, and go as hard as he did to beat someone with the magnitude of Artur Beterbiev is insane to close out the show like that. Again, I don't know personally if I've seen anything like that from Dimitri Bivol. Y'all welcome to the chat. Don't be shy. Drop it in there wherever you're from. Let's talk about yesterday's card. Yo, we got to talk about it. There's too much not to talk about. I put out a video afterwards, but I'm like, nah, we got to talk about these fights, man. That what a day of boxing we had. And it was literally a day of boxing. I mean, I turned the TV on at 8:30 when the card started, and I think it went all the way until 5 p.m. or so. So it was insane. An insane card. An insane card. A lot of great fights on the card. A few surprises, but damn. But man, what a treat it was. What a treat it was. Joseph, man, what's good, bro? Virgil would smoke Crawford. Virgil could have definitely done better in that fight, man. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Joseph, what's going on, brother? Welcome. NSG, Kentucky in the building. What's going on, brother? Did you catch the fights yesterday? So we got quite a few people in here, man. So my man Joseph, man, brought up Virgil, man. What'd y'all think of Virgil's performance, man? Don't be shy. Get in the chat, yo. What'd y'all think of Virgil's performance yesterday? I thought he did good because he won the fight and it was a clear victory on the fight. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was really good. The thing with Virgil, that early on in the fight, there was too many times where I think that he could have imposed his pressure, laid combinations, and ended up getting the stoppage against Madrimov. Now, I'm not hating at the fact that he didn't get the stoppage, by no means. Whatever, that's okay. You're not always going to get a stoppage or a knockdown or all of that kind of stuff, right? That comes. But there was plenty of times where I think that he could have pressed the fight. I think that he could have pressed it. Every time that Madrimov was into that corner, Virgil Ortiz Jr. could have definitely jumped in there with combinations and let loose. He broke him down over the course of the fight, man. But had he just jumped on him a little bit sooner, he would have made it even more of a clear victory. His stock would have went up even higher if that would have been the case. Nonetheless, he got the victory, man. against a fighter like Crawford, this is the thing that happens with these type of fights, though. Okay, and it needs a special fighter in order to put this game plan into play. But now you see what gives Virgil trouble. Now you see what gives him trouble, the bait that he's gonna take. Okay, so Majamov yesterday, he was just way too mobile, right? Towards later in the fight, he was getting caught by shots, and Virgil ended up slowing him down. Ultimately, and ended up to Virgil pressing the action. And Majamov is no punk. He's not no pushover either. But there's definitely places in Virgil's game that they need to work on, because a fighter with a higher IQ and a better fighter than Majamov would have used that game plan against Virgil up until 12th round and got a win over Virgil. Julian, what's going on? Jose, what's happening? What's happening? Yeah, man. So I mean, he got the victory. You know what I'm saying? He got the victory, which is all that's important. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, wow, wow, what a card altogether. Yeah, I mean, Virgil would definitely need to make some adjustments into his game plan and, put more into his repertoire, so to speak, in order to make a fight with Crawford or someone else, more competitive. You know what I'm saying? But he showed gaps in his game, which could also be a good thing. They could work on him. I'm sure that him and Robert Garcia are going to take a look and make the adjustments that they need to make, for sure. Thunders, what's going on, my brother? Salute to you, man. Welcome to the live, good sir. What'd you think of the card yesterday? Yeah, Crawford was gonna take no chances, man. Honestly, man, after looking at Crawford, man, he's been preparing for the Canelo fight for quite a long time. But I mean, ultimately, man, I was happy with the cards yesterday, bro. Another one that really impressed me was what was his name, man? Caballel, the one that beat Big Zhang. He really impressed me, man, because when you look at the first round and you look at how mobile he was moving, just being around the ring, as a boxing fan, I kind of assumed that he was going to try to do that for 12 rounds. Just kind of dance around Zhang, tire him out, hit him in each pocket, hit him in this pocket, hit him wherever you can and stay out the way of danger. But how he came out in the second round and pressed Zhang and went directly to his body, bro, that's the it didn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. Maybe I look too hard at it. That's the stuff of great fighters, okay? Because it's a risk. Not everybody is just going to press a fighter like Zhang, who's a big dude and a big puncher and could bring it to you. Not everyone's just going to press the man like that. Caballel understood that if I take the chance and press this guy, if I put him on the back foot, so to speak, if I start hitting him to his body now, I'm going to get him out of here early in the fight. And that's exactly what he did. But again, it takes a great fighter, a smart, intelligent fighter and corner to pull something like that off. Bro, Ashy Knuckles, what's going on? Welcome. Yo, our Thunders, I'm going to tell you like this, man. We had it live yesterday, man. And when I seen him start going to the body early, it was, and the fact that he kept landing that left hook to the right side of Zhang, when he kept landing that, when he kept going on with that, I said, by round 7, he's going to get this guy out of there if he keeps going like this. He got him out in 6, man. Aurora, what's going on? It's funny, man. I was wrong because I said Bakoli would knock out Parker, even though he took the fight on short notice and all that. But and you see, man, and I mean, no excuses, right? It is just what it is. Big up to Joseph Parker. He was in great shape. He did what he had to do. But that shot that he landed on Bakole, which was a kind of a halfway shot on the top of his head, a fighter that's in shape wouldn't get dropped and knocked down like that. But he felt like Baloo of Jungle Book, man, just bop. But I hope that Bakole's next fight, I hope he still takes the fight in May. Yeah, I hope that he still takes the fight in May, because he was supposed to be on the undercard, I'm not mistaken, of Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney's fights. He was supposed to be on that same card. I hope he still takes that fight, because I want to see Bakole back in there. He's a likable dude, man, and he has bricks in his gloves, man. Those little sneaky uppercuts that come from all sides, I like that. But I mean, yeah, man. So Caballel, man, against Zhang, what a game plan. That's another one that I was really, really impressed with. I mean, sometimes we could overlook stuff like that. We could say, big deal, he took it to the body, but put yourself in their shoes when you're in there with a puncher like Zhang, with someone as mean as Zhang, as big as him, to take the fight to someone like that. It's not an easy task. It looks easy from the outside in. You tell yourself, yeah, I'll just go to the body. When you're in that ring and you know that this man could hurt you, hell, this man knocked out Deontay Wilder, you'll think twice about doing so, but you'll understand that I got to take this risk in order to impose my game plan on him and break down that body, and it worked. Nando, what's going on, sir? Welcome to the live, good sir. He said Crawford fans wanted Majimov to win so bad. Oh, yeah, you better believe it. They wanted Majimov to have a big showcase performance to justify that type of fan anyway. You know what I'm saying? That type of fan to justify what Crawford did. But I mean, styles make fights, man. And honestly, I'll be real with you, Nando. I don't know how long you've been in the chat for, but I think if Ortiz would have pressed him earlier and started letting off his combinations earlier in the fight, I think that he could have ended up stopping him in that fight, bro. Joaquin, what's going on, my brother? Good morning, sir. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. If you're not subscribed, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow the content. There was just too much to talk about. Bro, Ashy Knuckles, it's funny that you ask about that fight, brother, okay? So I was live with this, right? Tabiat, what's going on? I was going live with the fight. I was doing live commentary, Ashy Knuckles. But on that particular fight, I had to go and pick up my kids. So it was after the Shakur Stevenson fight, right? They went up next, if I'm not mistaken. So I rushed to go get the kids, and I came back. So that's the one fight that I didn't catch. Adamus should have won. Yeah, I know. The fight was in what I saw, too. I saw maybe the last couple of rounds. It looked like they were going at it. Obviously, it was supposed to be a showcase for Shiraz. Thunder's Productions, Colin Smith. Yo, Colin Smith and Boazzi was a great fight. And let me tell you something, man. We don't speak about Colin Smith enough, man. The adjustments that he made in that fight, that double left hook that kept landing for him, dude. People don't realize with Colin Smith, the man has 2 losses on his record, man. Oh, that thumb was on accident. 2 losses on his record. One being Canelo Alvarez, one being Artur Beterbiev. I ain't mad at that. Come on now. But yeah, he did what he had to do to pull off the win, man. A lot of people were writing him off in that fight. A lot of people were writing him off, man, but the man came. The man came to fight. LF, Ortiz is a beast, man, and I'm like I'm saying in here, man, I'm hoping that they learn from this fight because the victory was clear as day. He was clear as day, right? It's just there were so many times, man, where Majimov was in that corner, and yeah, it was set up as bait for Virgil Ortiz, that he could have jumped in there. He could have, and again, I'm from the outside looking in. Who knows what Virgil was looking at? From the outside in, Virgil steps in with the jab and starts teeing off at the body. He gets the stoppage against Majimov, bro. I guarantee it. Oh, Joseph, I'm going to get to that, bro. DP or Ortiz would stop being biased. How am I being biased, bro? I'm sitting here saying literally that he could have stopped him had he fought different. How am I being biased, DP? Now you got to come with it, bro. How am I being biased? He got the win, bro. I mean, could I say he looked like crap? I said he could have looked better. Ashy Knuckles. No, but Callum Smith, yeah, you said it, for an elite fighter, bro. But how many fighters could we name that an elite fighter would have their ticket? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. His only 2 losses is to Beterbiev and Canelo. Even at the level that he's at, come on now. Well, he did want to fight. Majimov took the fight. He did want to fight. If you're talking about if he didn't want to fight inside the ring, like go to war, that's not how Majimov fights. Majimov is a tricky fighter. And remember, man, styles make fights, which is exactly why I'm saying, had Ortiz, when Majimov was trying to set up the bait, if he would have pressed him, he would have ended up getting the stoppage. That's exactly what I said. I'm not going to say he looked bad against a guy that looked great against Terence Crawford. I'm not going to say he looked bad. He could have looked better. Okay, he was frustrating me in the fight, but he got the win nonetheless. That's the fight Tank Benavidez said they would entertain if they get in the fight with Bivol next. Yeah, I think that Benavidez should fight Callum Smith, Anthony Yarde, hell, Buatsi. And the reason I say that, man, there's no reason for Benavidez to jump right into a big fight with Bivol or Artur. I mean, I get it. He's the mandatory and all of that. I totally get it. But me, if I'm the one that's managing Benavidez, advising him, I'm going to say, bro, there's no reason to jump right into those. You don't got nothing to prove yet. You run your mouth a lot, but you don't got to prove nothing to no one yet. Just take it easy. Take one more fight at 175, then get in the ring with one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it, man. That's just how I look at it. But then now let's talk about the remind me, whoever brought up the Canelo stock went up after last night, remind me of that, because that's definitely, when more people get in here, I'm definitely going to say something that might trigger a few people. It might. Fans of the sport, it shouldn't, right? But let's talk about Shakur Stevenson now against, I can't remember the guy's name. What was it, man? Something Pradley. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The dude that took the fight on short notice, who went, what was it, 9 rounds with Shakur? He went 9 rounds. I'll tell you something about that kid, though. I'll tell you something about him. He may be an electrician. He may be all of those things. However, one thing that he did show is that he keeps himself in shape in between fights, because he took this fight on short notice, and the kid was obviously in shape. You know what I mean? He did what he could against a fighter like Shakur Stevenson. Now, on Shakur Stevenson's side, Jonathan, what's good, sir? He said, Madrimov has to come to fight that movement, running around the ring, the exact same reason why he lost to Crawford. What happens to taking the belts away from the champions or interim titles? Yeah, no, I get it, man. I mean, I get moving. I get using the ring, right? That's what boxing is, using the ring. The problem is when you get mobile like that, to prove your point, when you get mobile like that, 2 things happen. 1, it doesn't look good to the judges. 2, you start gassing out. So you could use the ring to your advantage, but you can't be that mobile. Let me see. Shakur did some good things, but tough to give him credit. The problem with Shakur is, and this is the thing with Shakur, it's not Shakur's fight that the fight with Floyd Schofield fell through. It's not. We cannot blame Shakur for that. They're talking about cream, snack, and all that. No, let's eliminate all of that, man. That's all cap. All right? I get that. All right? And yes, Shakur did not train for this fighter. However, since Shakur was in there against somebody that could not hurt him, because the dude only has like 8 knockouts on his record. I'm talking about Pardley, I think his last name, Joshua Pardley. I can't remember. It was the perfect time for Shakur to showcase what he could do. Take a little bit more risk, Shakur. You're in there with the guy that's not a big puncher, okay? Make it exciting now. You want your stock to go up, Shakur Stevenson. You don't want it to go down. So Shakur still went out there and was Shakur. Now, I get it, I love the sport, right? Shakur is great defensively. The name of the game is hit, don't get hit. But sometimes if you want to be that type of fighter, you got to take risks. And Shakur Stevenson did not take them last night. Let me tell y'all something. You guys know how much I criticize Tank for the way that he moves, right? And I've said it before. Why doesn't he fight Shakur? But after the fight last night, even more so, I don't understand why Tank doesn't want to fight him. Okay, I don't understand that. Shakur's not going to hurt Tank. He wasn't really even able to hurt dude last night. Those body punches flushed him, don't get me wrong. But as much as he was teeing off to the guy's head and as much headshots as he landed, another fighter with just a bit more of a punch would have hurt him. This is the problem that Shakur Stevenson is going to face. So this is the same problem that Devin Haney faces. As they move up in weight, they're not even punchers in their weight division. So I'm kind of scared for Devin Haney going up to 147 against a Jose Ramirez. Shakur Stevenson is going to have to stay at 135, whether he gets a fight or not, because him to make the leap to 140, his power is going to minimize even more. You know what I'm saying? Chewy, what's going on, sir? Jonathan Ramirez, what's going on, sir? He was there at the fight last night, bro. He actually did a small interview last night. They didn't showcase Benavidez. Like, they weren't showing where he was sitting or nothing like that, but he actually did a short interview. Joseph, man, Tank would beat Shakur. I think so too, bro. I think the risk that PBC doesn't want to take with Tank and Shakur is Tank going 12 rounds with Shakur. Not that Shakur would get a decision win against Tank, because I don't think he would, but Shakur could definitely make it a type of fight where they go 12 rounds and the whole image of Tank being a knockout artist drops. And y'all got to remember, man, PBC is holding on for dear life with Tank Davis because he's their only moneymaker right now. Of course, you got Benavidez there too, but he doesn't bring the type of people that Tank has. And Tank has a very special fan base. And what I mean by that, and y'all probably saw Showbiz say the same thing, yo, y'all remember the movie Titanic? I said this last time. Remember playing music as the ship was going down? They will go down with Tank. Doesn't matter who. Tank could fight Clarissa Shields, and his following is going to back him and say, yeah, see what now? He beat the GOAT. That's the fan base that Tank Davis has, bro. So they got to hold on to that. Crawford went inside the ring. Why didn't Benavidez go? Hey, that's a good question. That's a good question, bro. Jonathan, I mean, who knows, man, who they let inside the ring and who doesn't inside that ring, but it's real clear to see, bro, that, again, nothing taken away from Benavidez, but for him to jump in right into a fight with Beterbiev or Bivol does not seem like a smart move. Benavidez is still on the younger side. He doesn't got nothing to prove yet. He just jumped to 175. There's no reason for him not to take another fight, maybe two, before jumping in with those juggernauts, man. For what? For what? You know? What's another fight, man, that was there was good ones last night. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man, we could talk about all the fights, man, but I'm telling you, man, what's his name? I forgot his name again. The guy that fought Zhang. That dude, man, he really impressed me last night. I know Zhang was a big dude. I know he's older. The game plan that he enforced on Zhang was great. It was great. Joseph, man, yeah, Benavidez. The unfortunate part about Benavidez, man, is that and I hate to say it again, man. Some of y'all may like it, some of y'all may not. But I mean, honestly, the proof is out there right now. The proof is out there. Benavidez's name getting tied to Canelo's name was the worst thing that could have happened to him, because it gave him that type of shooting star popularity. Do you know what shooting star popularity is? It means it goes up really quick, but then it also drops really quick, is what tends to happen. The man could fight. The man did what he had to do against Morrell. The man could fight. Let's not take that away from David Benavidez, right? But there's a bigger audience out there that just thinks that he could beat Canelo, and they're a fan of that than actual David Benavidez. And that's, I mean, the proof is out there. The proof is out there, right? Jonathan, yeah, that's the main reason that he went up there for that fight, bro. I'm just, someone had to advise him, like, bro, you go right into those fights, as much talking as you've been doing, right? You haven't looked great at 175 yet. You jump into those fights with those guys, that whole monster image and all that is gonna tank even more. It's gonna fall even more. Let's just say he fights Beterbiev. Let's just say that he fights Dimitri Bivol and he loses to one of those guys. Okay, that crowd that backs Benavidez to hopefully dethrone Canelo will be gone quicker than you know it. They'll be out of the picture fast. Then goes your stock, is what happens, bro. Pancho Villa, nah, I think that was just like a fan-made thing, bro, because there wouldn't be too much interest in the Benavidez versus Jake Paul. Benavidez doesn't have that kind of hype around him. You know, it's a shooting star thing, like I said. And I like Benavidez, and I hope he does great things at 75 and so forth. I truly hope so, because boxing is not an easy sport. But his name is not like that, bro. See, Jake Paul versus a Mike Tyson, the name Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, you think knockout artist, even if he is 60 years old, it's still a popularity thing, because Jake Paul is an entertainer for that crowd. Canelo Alvarez, obviously, it's the same thing. He's a very popular fighter. The chances of him knocking out Jake Paul is something that the fans want to see. David Benavidez, if you don't follow the sport, you really don't know who David Benavidez is. You know, I could ask a person outside right now walking the dog, do you know who Canelo Alvarez? Do you know who Mike Tyson is? They're going to know who he is. I can't ask the average person, do y'all know who David Benavidez is? You have to kind of follow the sport in order to know those things. What up, Young Simba? Yeah, we did, brother, but we could go at it again, bro. What'd you think of the performance? Hey, Young Simba, we could talk about Ortiz again. Let me just get some more coffee, brother. 1 second. So what up, yo? Young Simba wants to talk about the Ortiz fight. Now let's talk about it, man. I like talking about these fights. I'm sure that none of us mind. Sunday morning coffee, man. Where your coffee at, yo? You see the steam coming up? Yeah, buddy. I think it was an outstanding performance. We can speak the truth and say he wasn't as good as they made him out to seem. I'm kind of making. So, are you saying that his performance wasn't that good, or that Ortiz is not as good as they make him seem, brother? And then I'll give you my. Oh, Majimov wasn't as good. Let me give you my take on that, bro. Just from a boxing fan watching from the outside in, and to those that heard me before, man, this is obviously, it might be repetitive to you, but my man wants to know. So my take on it, man, is Ortiz is great. I think Ortiz is a really, really good fighter. Yesterday was a good fight for him for two reasons, man. One, he got the W against Majimov. Now, to the normal person, he beat the same guy that Crawford beat. You could argue that he did it more convincingly, that he hurt Majimov more than Crawford did. All those kind of things, when you're trying to sell somebody, it looks really, really great. Absolutely. Your stock goes up, right? Your stock goes up. My thing would be is I hope that Ortiz and Robert Garcia take it from, that's another thing. They should have taken points from Majimov in that fight. The ref was being way too gracious, merciful. I think that they could learn a lot from this fight, Robert Garcia and Virgil Ortiz, man. And the only reason I'm saying this is because Virgil Ortiz Jr. has it in him to improve in these areas. Otherwise, I'd be like, yo, that's what the man brings to the table. That's what he does. We can't get no much better than him. But if you guys were following the live commentary yesterday, you would see there was plenty of times that I was getting frustrated early in the fight because I think that there was plenty of times that Ortiz could have capitalized on certain situations. Example, everybody remembers when Majimov kept going to the corner. Obviously, he was trying to set traps for Ortiz, is what he was trying to do. He was trying to set traps, hit him, and get out the way. I get all that. However, Ortiz is heavy-handed, and he's heavy-handed with both hands, okay? Now, this is where he should take out of the page of someone like a Rocky Marciano or a Canelo. He's not seeing a clear shot at the body. He's not seeing a clear shot at the head. But in those moments, had Ortiz jumped in there, jabbed his way in, and just let loose on Majimov, landed wherever he could, hit him in the guard, hit him in the arms, the forearms, had he done that, I guarantee you that he would have got him out of that fight around the 10th round. I think that he could have stopped Majimov had he been on the attack a little bit more in those moments, right? So there's an up and a down to it. Robert Garcia and Virgil should definitely look into that and capitalize on it and learn that moving forward. Now you get other fighters out there, the Boots Ennises, the Crawfords, that say, okay, we know what areas are going to give Virgil Ortiz Jr. problems. We know which areas are going to trouble him. We know how we could capitalize against him. So I think it was a good performance overall. I just think that there's certain areas that, better to learn against someone like Majimov that he could definitely improve on. But nonetheless, man, good performance, man. He did a good fight, man. Left, Majimov was not only headbutting, bro. He was also jumping in with his shoulder. And I don't know how many times the ref told him, man, yo, one last chance. Like, come on now. I just believe as far as skills, Ortiz was a few levels above. Just the herky-jerky style made him fight smart and not run into anything. Yeah, obviously Majimov knew why he was fighting that way. He didn't want to sit there and trade with Ortiz. I just think Ortiz should have just jumped in there and started banging him wherever he could, bro. Beat the arms up, do whatever. He could have slowed him down a lot sooner than what he did. But not taken away. It was a clear victory, Very clear victory. Omar Gonzalez, welcome to the live, good sir. I think Bud is going to shock the world in September. We shall see, man. Anything is possible in boxing, man. We shall see. We shall see, man. The only, one thing, man, that Bud is not going to, let me see, we'll go back to that, Pancho. One thing about Bud, though, man, it's obvious that he's been training for the Canelo fight for quite a long time. Obviously Crawford has the chance to do so, man, because Crawford is an elite fighter for sure. The thing is, man, that we forget is he's jumping up all those weight classes now. We see the weight, right? We see that he was weighing at 186 the other day. We seen him last night. We see Madrimov said that he looked bigger and all of that. I get all that kind of stuff. But being inside the ring is a whole lot different. If he's not going to take a tune-up fight at that weight class or close to it before the Canelo fight, again, I don't take away from Crawford. He has a chance because he's skilled enough to do it. How is his power going to carry into that weight class? And how is he going to receive those shots coming from Canelo? Because he's never been hit by no one like a Canelo Alvarez. I guarantee you that. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, he has a chance to. You know what I'm saying? But it depends, man. A lot comes into that. You know, it's funny. I heard a few podcasts, a few content creators talking about Terrence Crawford, how they're saying, you know, yo, he had time to hit the weights. He had time to do all of that. That's not how it works in boxing, though. It doesn't work like that in boxing. In boxing, it's not about a guy that's a natural 175er. Now he gets himself protein. He gets himself creatine. He starts eating more. You know, he's involving a lot more weightlifting into his repertoire. Now he got a little bit more swollen. He made weight. That doesn't work against you. That doesn't work in the sport of boxing. For one, punchers are born, not made. Okay, and you hear trainers say that all the time. If anything, as you move up in weight, if you're not a natural puncher, your power goes down. Now, there's some people who could punch and their power just carries over. You know, there's fighters like a Ryan Garcia. Okay, no matter where he goes in weight, he's just a heavy-handed puncher. He'll carry that punch to wherever. There's a few fighters that have that, but that could actually hurt you with either shot. Virgil Ortiz is probably another one. No matter where he moves along the line, he's just a heavy-handed fighter. That does not happen with every single fighter, though. And again, maybe Crawford does, but we do not know enough about Crawford going into those weight classes to make that call. You know, it's probably another one. You know, they talk about all the good things that, you know, putting weight on and taking the time off is going to help him inside that ring, but they're not talking about what happens on the back end, how your body uses a lot more energy with the more muscle mass that you got on. There's a lot, you know, moving around the ring, unless he's planning on fighting with Canelo, moving around that ring and using the ring is going to tire him out. Yeah, El Padrino, you nailed it on the money. The more he builds muscle, the slower he's going to be. You got to stay sharp inside that ring. For Canelo, he's been fighting at 68 for like 3 years now. This is nothing new to him. And they're not going to do a catch weight because Canelo is the obvious A side, right? My man Tony Dice said, Paulie saying Madrimov is better than Canelo. Yeah, that was freaking whack when Paulie said that, man. And it's crazy, man, because if you look at Paulie's interview after the David Benavidez-Morrell fight, Paulie actually made a lot of sense to what he was saying. So Paulie knows his stuff. The problem is with Canelo Alvarez, he just chooses to, he's a hater. He does not like Canelo Alvarez. You know, like last night, I had to bring it up, or yesterday rather, I had to bring it up on the live. Dimitri Bivol, great performance, right? Great performance. What's funny to me is that a lot of us, right, and I'm sure a lot of you guys too, always saw Dimitri Bivol as a special fighter. Since way before Canelo fought him, we're like, Dimitri Bivol is a problem for any damn fighter. I don't care who it is. That man is an elite fighter. A lot of us understood when Canelo chose to fight Dimitri Bivol that it was a step up in weight, and in competition, he was not chasing after no punk. But now I think back to the Paulie Malignaggi's, the Teddy Atlases, that one hurts my heart to say. All the Clarissa Shields, all the professional boxers and everything that completely wrote Dimitri Bivol off against the Canelo Alvarez, not only wrote him off, but called him a cherry pick. That cherry pick became undisputed last night and dethroned Artur Beterbiev. So the cherry pick is the man at 175. Put some respect on his name, and let's not ever refer to him as a cherry pick again. And they know exactly who they are. Y'all know who you are. Don't try to justify it. When it was Canelo fighting him, right? When it was Canelo fighting him, it was a cherry pick. Same thing with Callum Smith against Boazzi. And when Canelo fought Callum Smith, it was a cherry pick. It was a this, it was a that, it was a that. This man goes on to fight Artur Beterbiev. Last night he beats Boazzi. That's the same Callum Smith. So 2 cherry picks showcased last night. Omar Gonzalez, yeah, I know. Andre Ward dislikes Canelo too, man. He hates on him too. And it sucks, man, because Andre Ward is my guy, but he hates on Canelo, bro. It sucks. Jonathan, it depends how they move up and down in weight. Look at Canelo at 168. He has no business. Yeah, no, and I get what you're saying there because Canelo is actually a shorter guy, man. If you look when he took a picture with Lil Tank, he wasn't much taller than Tank Davis, right? He wasn't more taller than Tank Davis. But Canelo's frame lends itself a little bit more to making that kind of weight. It lends itself a little bit more. You know, he's a little bit wider in the shoulders. He's just naturally a more massive dude than a Terrence Crawford. And like you said, he did it over the course of the years. He didn't decide at 154 to jump to 168. That would have not been a good move. Y'all got to take Crawford's age into consideration as too. Canelo's fighting in May against a William Skull. Let's not forget that. Crawford has not fought since the Madrimov fight, and he's not going to fight again. Tony Diaz, I think Andre Ward would have fought better than Bivol, man. I mean, he took on Sergey Kovalev while Kovalev was still the crusher. I mean, he jumped up from 168 to do so. You know what I mean? Eric G, what's good, though? Canelo is like Mike Tyson at heavyweight, in my opinion. Yeah, Canelo, man, Canelo's a special fighter, man. Tony Diaz, yo, if you're saying why did he retire, I would definitely say that, you know, it depends though, man. Andre Ward, he retired, and then obviously he got into the commentating, and he's also a pastor at his church, if I'm not mistaken. But again, man, given Andre Ward's resume, just like I say with Canelo, it's really hard to say that they ducked anyone going off of their resume. Because again, you know, Andre Ward jumped and he fought Sergey Kovalev at 175 while he was still the crusher. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to say that he ducked any smoke. Just like it's hard to say Canelo ducked any smoke. It's like, I don't think so. Not these guys. Not these guys. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, bro, Jonathan. I think that we should definitely be talking about it, man. We should definitely be talking about RJH. What's up? I would love to see Callum Smith versus David Benavidez. I think that'd be a great fight. I think that would be a great fight. I know Turkey last night was talking about making Benavidez fight Beterbiev or Bivol right away, man. But no, man. That would just sell because of the name, you know, the Mexican Monster versus whoever. But I think a good fight for the sport of boxing and all together would be Callum Smith and the David Benavidez. He said David is going to be the first undisputed interim champion ever. Anyways, man, like I was talking about earlier, man, let me kind of go for a little bit. Dimitri Bivol's performance last night, man. Normally, I'm hyped after a win like that, right? And you guys know that I was leaning on Beterbiev to win this fight. I wasn't rooting for him. I just thought that it was going to be the same as the first fight because let's not forget, in the first fight, Dimitri Bivol fought how Dimitri Bivol fought. He just could not keep Beterbiev off of him. As more that the fight went, Bivol got tired, as did Beterbiev, but Beterbiev stayed on the attack. So it gave the illusion, and it's true, that Bivol in their first fight was kind of surviving the last few rounds. Once you look like you're on survival mode, you're literally trying to fight off an opponent, not fight an opponent, which is what the judges see, and ultimately we see, right? So I'm thinking, how is he going to change that? Because that's just who Bivol is. And then when he said that he's going to have to sit and fight a little bit more, I'm thinking, dude, that's kind of hard because Bivol is not a tremendous puncher. He's not a huge puncher, right? He's not feather-fisted, but he's not a big puncher. So I'm thinking, how's he going to be able to fight in there with Beterbiev, right, and get him off of him? Beterbiev is not going to stop coming forward. You could punch his teeth out, his eyes out, Beterbiev is still going to come forward because the man is just, he's from a different cloth, right? So when Bivol went up those 3 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds to start the fight, if this was his game plan, because this is the only thing that I could conclude, if his game plan was to jump off fast like Bivol does, to make Beterbiev be the aggressor and then kind of back off for a little bit and take some rounds off, so then he could go on the attack after Beterbiev used a lot of his energy, would be something that is of a brilliant mind and such an elite fighter. Because for a minute there, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I was thinking that the rest of the fight was gonna go like that. After Bivol had his shine in the first few rounds, I kind of thought the rest of the fight was just gonna go Beterbiev 100% because that's what it was looking like. Beterbiev was on the attack, non-stop attack for like 4 rounds. Okay, for like 4 rounds he was on the attack. So I'm thinking, hell, man, did Bivol hurt his hand? He wasn't using his right hand as much. Is he discouraged? What is going on? Is he remembering their first fight? Did he get hurt? What is going on? And I was kind of like, I don't want to see this. Then out of nowhere, Bivol gets back on the attack. All of a sudden, he's using angles to catch Beterbiev coming in that were crazy. All of a sudden, he's throwing combinations and using that right hand. So if you look at the first fight and look at the second fight, man, Bivol at no point in this fight looked like he was in survival mode. Like he was just trying to fight Beterbiev off. At no point in this fight did he look that way as he did in the first fight. In this one, the man closed out the show. The man closed out the show. He left no doubt in the minds of people that he won that fight. So when I think about it, it's like, man, how brilliant is that? Could you guys imagine? Okay, giving up 4 rounds, and this is not for sure. This is what I'm saying. Imagine giving up 4 rounds, 3 or 4 straight rounds to an Artur Beterbiev, being behind on the cards against someone like an Artur Beterbiev, and all of a sudden switching it up and closing out the show. Brother, that is a damn thing of legends right there. That is a thing of legends right there. I could not believe the way that he completely turned it around and closed the show. Did you see his face? He didn't look as beat up as the first fight. Did you see Artur Beterbiev? He took it to him. He took it to him. Bivol understood the assignment. His team understood the assignment, and they came up with the perfect game plan. I'm telling you guys, if you guys watched that fight yesterday, make sure that you watch it today, because in the future, when we look back at legendary nights, this is going to be up there. This is going to be up there, man. Oh yeah, if y'all saw the post presser, man, with Bivol, he said he wants to chill for a second because, yo, big up to Bivol and Beterbiev, man. They made the rematch happen really, really soon. They jumped right back into the rematch, so to speak. They both took a beat in that first fight, and they gave us the fight once again. So Bivol's like, yo, wait a minute. Let me chill for a little bit. Let me take it a little bit easy. Let me take a vacation. Let me enjoy my time here, right? Let me do all this, and then we could talk about Benavidez. Then we could talk about Canelo. Then we could talk about Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? So the man's going to come to fight, bro. The man's going to come. Pounds, what's going on, good sir? Yeah, I saw that, man, that they were his calf muscles and all that. But and let me just say, man, both of them performed great. Beterbiev, man, is such a, it's so crazy, man, because I'll be real with y'all. Beterbiev to me is entertaining in the fact that he brings the fight. He's nonstop coming forward, loads up that right hand, and you won't get that guy to stop, okay? But as far as the way that he fights, to me, it's not too entertaining of, you know, slipping a shot, catching you, do all that. No, the man is just a force to be reckoned with. But the fact that at 40 years old, he's able to do that from the first round to the 12th round is insane. Is insane. Here, I got one for you guys, man. A lot of you guys might exercise on the heavy bag or do whatever. Go to a heavy bag, okay? Put 5 rounds. Put 5 rounds on your cell phone or whatever's taking the timer. Put 1 minute rest between each round. And for the whole time that you're hitting the bag, don't stop. Don't stop hitting the bag. And you'll see how crazy that is. His stamina is insane. Insane. That was, I'll be real with y'all, man. I've been watching boxing for a while now. And last night's performance by Bivol was one of the greatest performances I've seen. I've seen a fighter be behind on the cards, come back and get the knockout. I've seen a fighter make an adjustment in the fight and turn things around. The way that Bivol did it and against who he did it against, I'm telling you, bro, it's something of legends. Yo, we got 24 people in here right now. Y'all welcome to the live. Make sure to get in the chat. Hit that subscribe button. Don't be shy. It's the Truth and Absolute Boxing channel. Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, Jonathan, that's just how it is in boxing, bro. When you're on top, that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, man, it's the I don't know, man. It's just the market out here. You know what I'm saying? It's just how the market is. They hate on a dude, for whatever reason. You get Canelo Alvarez, man, coming from, a fighter coming from Mexico and completely taking over the American market. Now, mind you, Oscar De La Hoya, when he was the face of boxing, he was really popular. He was loved. The ladies loved him. He was a gold medalist, all of the above. And his style was, fan friendly. He could knock out somebody at any moment with the punches. Yo, my man. Thunders, I appreciate you, my man. God bless you, sir. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Much love to you, my man. Yo, make sure to shout out to my man Thunders Productions, man, supporting with that super chat. I appreciate you, good sir. But you take, like I was saying, you take Oscar De La Hoya, who could finish a fight at any moment. He has that deadly left hook that he could stop you at any moment, at any time, right? Again, the ladies loved him. He carried himself. He had the smile. He seemed like a likable cat, right? All right, that was the face of boxing at that time, and he was an American fighter. Yeah, his background is from Mexico, but he's an American fighter. He fought for the U.S. in the Olympics and brought home a gold medal. Then after Oscar De La Hoya, no one really got the torch and ran with it. There was many great fighters at the time. People forget. There was many great fighters at that time, but they didn't quite have that star power. Even when Floyd Mayweather became the face of boxing, so to speak, let's not forget that pretty boy Floyd was a great fighter, one of the greatest at that time, but he was nothing that people were paying to watch. He was having great performances as well. He just didn't have that star power to him. Floyd Mayweather, it's kind of a tricky situation because he came up with Manny Pacquiao. Now, I never thought that Pacquiao was the greatest in the sport at any time. My personal opinion, great nonetheless, but at any point, I don't think that he was better than Floyd, right? So when you take that into consideration, Floyd had to take up the villain role. These people are not going to pay to watch me win. These people are not going to pay to support me. The only way that these people are going to line up and fill the stadium is that they all want to pay to watch me lose. Floyd Mayweather embraced that, and he became the face of the boxing, but not quite like an Oscar De La Hoya where he was a fan favorite. Floyd, a lot of us love Floyd, but he wasn't the guy people were paying to watch. He was filling the seats for different reasons, not because they were there cheering him on. Then out of nowhere, here comes Canelo Alvarez, right? A Mexican fighter that doesn't look like your traditional Mexican fighter, really light skin, got freckles, got red hair, right? Not when you think of a Mexican fighter, you wouldn't think of someone like a Canelo Alvarez. And he's not just of Mexican background, he's from Mexico. Okay, he is from Mexico. He comes into the American market, right? When he finally gets on that big stage against Floyd Mayweather, he loses. He was too young, he was too green, but he loses. The redemption part of Canelo is what made Canelo Alvarez who he is. We've had plenty of great fighters from Mexico. We saw Marquez knock out Manny Pacquiao. He did not quite get that star position, right? The Barrera, the Morales, there was plenty of people at that time that came from Mexico that didn't quite have that star power. Canelo Alvarez at the time, which was the biggest stage in his career, fights Floyd Money Mayweather. One, you started watching Canelo because for me, like every other fighter, I wait till they earn their stripes. I don't give it to them off of their potential. He takes the fight with Austin Trout. Now you got my attention and many other boxing fans because we did not think that he was going to take a fight with Austin Trout. Mind you, Austin Trout, undefeated fighter who had just beaten Miguel Cotto. We're like, there's no way this young kid is going to fight Austin Trout to get the Mayweather fight. He took the fight and he beats Austin Trout in a good fight. He gets in the ring with Mayweather. Mayweather takes Canelo to school. He took young Canelo to school. There's no debate in that, right? But how did Canelo come up from that? It was a redemption story. He did not just get satisfied with his payday from Floyd and kind of just be a fighter. No, he challenged himself, right? Canelo Alvarez, after Floyd, still was poised to be one of the best fighters of all time. And he kept fighting. He kept knocking dudes out. He kept building his name, right? He took those challenges. Little by little, he started building a name up and people started watching him. People started watching him because Canelo is also one of those that at any time could end a fight, especially when he was at 154, 160. knocks out James Kirkland, right? He fights a couple other of these guys, man. There's a lot of people, man. I'm thinking back many years, and he captured the American market, okay? Las Vegas became his home, and the difference between him and Floyd was that, and Oscar De La Hoya, one, he's not an American fighter. Two, you know, he carries himself well outside the ring. What I mean by that, he doesn't have to trash talk. He doesn't have to do none of the above. He just gets in there and he fights. Hell, he's barely speaking English now. At the time, he wasn't even speaking English. What does the guy do? He learns how to speak English little by little. These are things that people pay attention to that sometimes we overlook. Now he's communicating with the American crowd. Now he's speaking in English to other athletes, putting his name out there. Oh, he met up with Steph Curry at the golf course. Oh, he's over here chopping it up with this dude. Oh, and the list goes on and on and on. Then what happens? He captures the boxing market and becomes the face of boxing, and people pay to watch this man fight. He pays to watch this man fight. So there's a difference between these kind of things, man. So, and some people won't be okay with that. I know I went on a tangent, but there's a reason for this kind of stuff, man. There's a reason for this kind of stuff. So he won over the American public, and to some people, it doesn't sit right because, you know, unfortunately, with boxing and many other sports, not only boxing, what tends to happen is a lot of times, okay, let me give you an example. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. Kobe is my guy. God rest his soul. God rest Gigi's soul. Everyone else that died in that crash, God be with them, right? I'm a Kobe fan. But I'll still say, you know, Paul Pierce was a great player. LeBron James is a great player. Right? Yeah, I'll still say all that because it does not mean by me telling you that those people are great, that they're better than my guy. What happens in sports way too often, they don't want to give credit to the next guy because in their eyes, they see him as a threat to who they think is the best. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, they want to prey on his downfall so they could point the finger and say, see, I told y'all he wasn't that great. I told y'all he wasn't that great, right? That's what kind of happened. That's exactly what kind of happened with the Bivol fight. They did not want Bivol, nor saw him as the guy to beat Canelo. That's not who they wanted to be Canelo. They wanted it to be a Jermell Charlo. They wanted it to be a David Benavidez. They wanted it to be anybody else so that they could say, you see, that's why they completely wrote Dimitri Bivol off and called him a cherry pick, right? Because they were like, absolutely not, not this guy. So now they call them a cherry pick gone wrong, which is insane. Insane. Tim Duncan was a great player. Servicero, what's going on, my brother? Welcome to the live. Good morning, good sir. All right, y'all. I'm gonna pour my last cup of coffee. All right, and I'm gonna be here in a few more minutes. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yes, I'm almost done. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me see, Servicero. Well, a loss can age well, just like a win does. Dudes love to clown Canelo for losing to Bivol. That's my thing, bro. That's my thing. How could we clown on Canelo for taking it's like, okay, he lost to Dimitri Bivol. What fighters do you see taking that kind of risk? that is literally equal, right? You could equal that to a fighter like a Tank Davis jumping up to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. That is, and this is the thing though, Canelo was already the face of boxing. He had no business jumping up to 175. It just shows you of his mentality though. They could downplay it as much as they want. He lost the fight, whatever. We all know he lost the fight. The fact is that he took the fight in the first place. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about, Pounds. They called him a cherry pick gone wrong. The funny thing to me is when they say that cherry pick gone wrong, as if a boxer, meaning any fighter, doesn't do their homework on another fighter before they fight them. They assume that it's just like one of us watching a boxing match on TV and we watch one fight and decide we want to fight that guy. That's not how it works at all. They scout the guy. They do many stuff to that. Paul, what's going on, my brother? What matchup would you like to see next from last night's lineup? I'm not for a third fight. I had Bivol win the first and second, so I'm not for a third. Paul, I would definitely like to see a third fight, but after last night's lineup, man, I would definitely like to see Callum Smith versus David Benavidez. Caballero was, I think, the heavyweight that beat Zhang last night. I throw him in there with Joseph Parker. Throw him in there with the other heavyweights. I think that he's definitely at that level from what I saw last night. Shakur Stevenson, man, it's hard for Shakur to land a fight, man. It's really hard for him to get a fight because as we saw last night, man, he even last night didn't truly engage on the fight. You know, he didn't truly engage in the fight. Now, Shakur is not a fighter. He's not one that's going to go there and bang it up with another fighter. But the fact that he didn't take risks or nothing like that, and that was against a guy who was feather-fisted. If you put Shakur Stevenson in there with a Pitbull, a Navarrete, all these other guys, they're not even going to take the fight because Shakur's just going to be mobile the whole fight. Now, guys, I like boxers. I like defensive fighters. But there's a difference in a fighter who's defensive because he gives you angles, he makes you miss, he blocks your shots, and he slips your shots, and then a guy that you have to chase around the ring. Those are two different type of defensive fighters. So for Shakur Stevenson, he's half defensive, but in reality, there's no fighter who's going to fight another dude when he's running out the ring. You can't hit that guy. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to hit him. He's running from you. So it's two whole different styles in defensive fighters. Jonathan says, Haney vs. Ryan rematch is going to be wild. That's at least 2 months of YouTubers turning into biotechnology and chemistry channel. Dog, I'm going to be real with you on that one, man. Jose Ramirez, bro, your cousin. I'm just looking at your last name, brother. That guy is going to come to fight, bro. Haney at 140. Haney didn't have power at 140, bro. I'm thinking, how is he going to have power at 47? Okay, Ramirez is going to know that. Ramirez and Rolly would love to spoil their plans to have a rematch. They know that they got to make it past them in order to get that rematch and to get that money. So we shall see what happens with that, yo. But let me see, from last night, yeah, I would say, man, Caballero, you throw him in there with the best heavyweights. Joseph Parker, obviously, man, Joseph Parker resume is crazy, but him, obviously, to fight the other heavyweights as well. Joseph Parker and Usyk, I would like to see that, man. Paul said, who's your most overrated fighters? Let's see, Paul. Most overrated fighters. From last night's cards or just in general in boxing right now? Because it's different. If you're talking about last night's cards or just in boxing overall right now, or in general. So I'm going to judge this off of two things. Not just everyone on the screen, but rather how the analysts and everybody make them sound. I'm going to be real with y'all. I would say Tank Davis. I would say Tank Davis. If we're going to hold all the fighters to the same standard, to the same level, I would absolutely have to say Tank Davis, bro. Absolutely. And I know they got to sell them, right? And I know they got to sell their fighters. And I'm not, and so listen, Paul, I see a lot of potential in Tank, but you know me, man, I don't get flowers off of potential. They can say whatever they want about Tank Davis, man, but you know, it's different when, how could I put this, man? I don't know, man. It's just, I would say Tank. Servicero says Tank, Pitbull, and Benavidez. Well, you know, Jonathan, to be fair to Devin Haney, bro, although he was kind of a weight bully at 35, his resume is damn decent. You know, he has, you know, Jorge Linares on there. He has, obviously, Camboso's on there. He has Lomachenko on there. So he has, you know, Jojo Diaz. So Haney's been in there with a couple of guys that you could be like, okay, he's nice. I think Devin Haney is pretty nice as well. Obviously, I don't think he's an elite fighter. But, you know, when you look at his resume compared to others, man, you can make an argument for Devin Haney for sure. But for Tank, for example, you know, Tank, again, you know, he won people over. People think about Tank. People think about Tank as a knockout artist, which his record does say that, but they don't hold him accountable for who he's knocking out and which fights he's not taking. Like, it's not even spoken about that Devin Haney could go up to 140. They don't even, or not Haney, I'm sorry, Tank. They don't even talk about Tank moving up to 140. Like, nobody talks about it. You notice that they don't say that? Why doesn't he move up to 140? Why doesn't he do that? Oh, he's too small. He's too small. Cap, look at Canelo's size and his height at the weight classes that he jumps to. So it's, for whatever reason, man, Tank gets the ultimate pass. The ultimate pass. Servicero, good point. That's a really good point. Keep in mind, y'all, overrated doesn't mean you aren't good. You just aren't as good as people claim you are. Great point, Servicero. I agree 100% with that statement. 100%, I agree with that, man. Behind the Nez, I think Linares got dropped 4 times and Haney couldn't hurt him, and Pitbull did the same with Gamboa. No, no. Did I say Gamboa when I was talking about Haney? No, man. I don't think I said Gamboa. I said Jojo Diaz. Yeah, but you know, Cambosos did beat. What's his name, bro? He did beat Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I think Teo fought the wrong fight, but nonetheless, he fought these guys. Now, Gamboa was already done by the time Tank fought him and Devin Haney got him, so nah. But, I mean, it's, you know, when you compare the resumes, though, he's taken, and he got in there with Ryan Garcia, although Ryan beat the brakes off of him, but he didn't try to weight drain Ryan Garcia. He didn't put a rehydration clause on him. You know, even though he got beat, he got in there with the best Ryan Garcia, and you got to give him credit for that. Nah, Joseph, man, you know, and that's a clear winner, man. Pitbull versus Tank 2, but they won't make that fight. They could have already made that fight. And that fight would sell. That's a fight that's on the shelf. It could sell, but for whatever reason, they don't want to make it. I'm telling you, man, one guy made a good point in the comments section, a really good point. He was speaking about Al Heyman, and that Al Heyman came from the music industry. Now, in the music industry, there's comparison to this that are pretty solid. In the music industry, man, they sell us product, right? Like they sell us certain rappers or certain musicians, and they put a whole background story behind them to where we keep on giving them praise. We keep on praising all that, but we're more praising their story than what they've actually accomplished in the boxing ring. I was just talking on the chat with some dude the other day from Chicago, and he was saying that a lot of people in Chicago, they line up to see Tank Davis fight. And what I asked him was, do you think it's the fact that they like what Tank Davis has done in the ring, or they like the product which Tank Davis is? You know, you look at Tank Davis, man, he looks like your typical street dude. You know what I'm saying? A background, just like these rappers. You know, I came from nothing. You know, mom on drugs, this and that. I had to fight just to survive and all that. It sounds really good. And a lot of people buy that story. So no matter who Tank fights, they always remember what he came from, and he gets the pass. You know what I'm saying? Paul, yeah, same here, brother, man. Thanks for stopping through, man. All right, man. I'm about to wrap it up, man. I hope that y'all hit that subscribe button. I hope y'all join me on the next live. It was nice sipping some coffee with y'all, talking boxing, man. Look out for the content to come. You guys enjoy your day, whatever it is that you do. You chill with your family. Some of y'all got to work. whatever it is that you're doing, man. God bless you and yours. I will speak to y'all soon, man. Much love and God bless, man. Y'all stay up. Peace.